Alright, so, again, just really quick, for anyone new that's here in the webinar recording, usually the way my sessions work is we sign on and right away we get right into questions, and the best way to approach is to go through the content and write down your questions as you have them as you're going through the content. So if you're watching a video and you're like, you have a question about something that I said or anything, just write it down. That way when you come to the webinar, you'll have questions ready, and you can just fire them off at me, and I literally just go right through questions. Today I made a post about 45 minutes ago on Facebook about something, so I'm just going to cover that really quick, take questions on that, and then we'll go into the normal structure where we get to the random questions from everyone, whatever type of questions you have. Alright, so I made a quick update here. PBN de-index update, careful what you link out to. I said so I had a few PBNs de-indexed, I could just not figure out why. All others were due to whois footprints I could clearly follow. I think I finally got it. I'm noticing that these sites had links out to other de-indexed sites or sites with spam penalties. From a common sense standpoint, this makes sense. If you put up a site and it has a page of new content linking out to sites not trusted, you are now not trusted. Although this is not 100% confirmed, it was true for a few sites I looked at and could not figure out footprints for, so be careful what you're linking out to. Alright, so what do I mean by this is, if you have a private blog network site, okay, you win at auction, you get it, you pick it up, you put up new content, and let's say you link out to like WebMD and then also an e-cigarette site that's your money site, okay? If that e-cigarette site is penalized or de-indexed or whatever the case, which could have happened even recently because of the updates going on. Again, I think they did these updates together on purpose, so I'll talk about that in a second. If you have a new site with one page of content that has 2 outbound links, one of those outbound links is to a site that's not trusted, it's like that site's losing trust now. And this kind of happened before, I think, but now, I mean, there's a chance of getting de-indexed, which is like the ultimate penalty because then you're going out of the index, right? So it's like they took it a notch up. And again, I think they did these together on purpose because if you have, like for example, say the e-cig site was fine before, because remember the whois footprints is what's really de-indexing sites right now, like the huge problem. This de-indexing sites. Let's say that this e-cig site was recently de-indexed because you have a bunch of PBNs pointing to it that have whois footprints. So now, let's say you had 10 links pointing to that PBN to that e-cig site, and 5 of those are now de-indexed. So now you got 5 of 10 links going to your e-cig site de-indexed. So your e-cig site is now either not trusted, penalized, spam penalty, or it's de-indexed, right? And that could have happened with this recent update. Maybe you didn't catch that, and now you put up a PBN link to it, not realizing it's penalized or de-indexed, and again, you have, a link out to WebMD, or whatever the case, but also this money site, the e-cig money site, that remember has 5 of 10 links going to a de-index, which penalized it in return or de-indexed it. So now that's penalizing your PBN. So it's kind of like it's not 100%, but it's the common thing I saw on a few sites I couldn't track whois footprints for. But it makes sense, and it's very smart of them to do this concurrently, together, because they have this new algorithm, so to speak, to track whois footprints, which untrusted a whole bunch of sites that were using PBNs to link to it. And then people who build new links to these PBNs that are recently penalized or de-indexed are also getting penalized or de-indexed because it follows the cycle, right? So does everyone get what I'm saying there? I just want to take questions on that really quick. So I'm just saying, when you link out, make sure you check your money sites. Make sure they're still indexed. Make sure the links going to them from your PBNs are not a whole bunch of de-indexed links and all that. Okay, so to see if a site is de-indexed, go to Google and type in site and then sitename.com or sitename.whatever. So there is a site out there indexed called sitename.com. Okay. Now if we do like a whole bunch of letters here, no documents. Okay, that means it's not indexed. So that's why you can check for indexing. To check for a penalty, put it in Webmaster Tools and it will say, like, it will tell you if there's a penalty or not for the site. You can just register a new Google account. I wouldn't check a whole bunch of sites under the same account. Maybe a couple of them. At the 2 or 3 at the most, I would say. But you can register a new account for each one if you want to be really safe. But to see if it has a penalty, if you want to be very careful, you can put it in Webmaster Tools. But what I'm doing is I'm just kind of running, like, especially for newer sites. Like, a lot of my older sites are totally fine. Like especially newer sites. You know, if you have a site that has just six PBNs going to it, and 3 of those PBNs are now de-indexed, be very careful about that, because that 3 of 6 is not a very good ratio. You know what I mean? So just check the PBNs that are pointing to your money sites, especially for new sites, and make sure there's not like a large de-indexing going on with your PBNs before you link to a money site from a new PBN. Okay. Yeah, right, Eric, right. And this is being recorded, yeah. Yeah, I go over all the stuff for Who Is Footprints in the video in your members area. It's a new video. You can bulk check for de-indexing with Scrapebox. That's what I use. Penalties, I don't think there is a way, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know. Yeah, you can set up a fake account for Webmaster Tools. That's actually what I would do. Alright. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is, let's go back into normal questions, and I'll also answer these questions mixed in with normal questions. Okay? So, if you ask a question before I start talking about this, please ask it again. That way I don't have to scroll up. Let me just get Microsoft Paint out here. Whoops. No manual penalty and still indexed, but loss of rankings. Probably anchor text, like optimization, Kevin. Make sure you're not over-optimized with anchor text and URL combinations. Yeah, you can do Who Is Guard. I think some people have been using fake names. I haven't done that yet, but as long as you have Who Is Guard and like, you don't have a whole bunch from the same registrar, especially places like Network Solutions. They've been my big problem. You know, just watch name servers and registrar. I am still playing with that, Joseph. Some I am deleting, and some I am not. So I'm still playing with that to see exactly what happens there. For most of them, I'm deleting them, Joseph. But there is a few sites that I'm leaving them just to see what it does. And so far, the ones I've deleted and left, rankings have not really moved that much. So, we'll see. I mean, I use SEO hosting. All the SEO hosting places that I talk about in training. I'd be careful again with how many you put on, especially if you end up like getting a whole mix of sites that are penalized and not penalized. Then they kind of put it together and start looking into your sites that are not penalized. I mean, slim chance, but just to be safe. From Sean here. I still rank most stuff with my PBN as of right now, so that's where I'm at, Sean. probably didn't pre. And with that example, I knew that I wasn't gonna have a ton of links, so I mean, you can have like your name in the who is information as long as there's not like two of them. Now, I think my name might have been flagged, so let's actually go check that. So that site might be de-indexed because I think my name is flagged because I have so many PBNs. Yeah, so this site's de-indexed actually, which doesn't surprise me if it's showing the who is information, because again, I think my name is flagged. I swear it is. Yeah, and you're right, it does show my name, so that's probably why this was de-indexed, because I swear my name is flagged, or this email is flagged, or something like that. Because all my stuff that was under this email or name got pretty much de-indexed. So that's probably why this site got de-indexed. Who is footprints? From Kevin. Yeah, and again, I would check anchor text optimization. Denise, it's not absolutely required, but if it's a site you're serious about, I would do it. From Doug. Let me make sure I have this whole question. I'm trying to read this again because I didn't understand it. I don't know, Doug. I mean, I think we always just link with the URL. I think they just link URLs in YouTube videos. As far as I know, if someone else linked like that, it wasn't me. I don't know how to do that, but I wouldn't worry about that. I would just link with the URL. If you want to get de-index sites re-indexed, you're going to have to put in a re-inclusion request. Tell them that you bought the site, you didn't realize it was penalized. You're the new owner and you won't be doing anything outside the legal guidelines. I haven't done it, but that's what people who are getting them re-indexed have done. Not necessarily. Again, I just explained this. There's some that I'm leaving, some that I'm not. This is new, so we don't know exactly the best way to approach it yet. And as soon as I see my test results, I'll let you know. Jay, I'm not sure. I haven't talked to Jimmy about that yet. I'm supposed to talk to him in the next day or two, so I'm not sure what they're talking about there. I haven't seen anything, but they look at different things than me, so we'll see. It's EMD still work, Alexander. It's just you got to be more careful with optimization. That's all. Now, if you're going after Pizza Charlottesville and you have pizzacharlottesville.com, you got to be careful with using Pizza Charlottesville as your anchor text. You got to. I've explained this. You kind of got to build around it first. Like I'll use longer anchor text, mix in some branded anchor text, and then when I need to, I'll hit the exact keyword later. Whereas if you had like Qzx899 and you're going after Pizza Charlottesville, you could do Pizza Charlottesville right away as the anchor text because that's not in your domain name. So EMD still work. You just gotta be more careful with optimization. From Joanne, you should see him on my screen, Joanne. From Eric, I might, Eric. I haven't done it myself yet, so I don't want to train something that I haven't done yet. I think Jimmy has done it with success. If he has, I'll talk to him about possibly doing it. Okay, Denise, so the footprint is, let's go here. For network solutions, for the registrant name, it will say Perfect Privacy LLC. And that's not used with many registrars. So it's a big footprint because not that many people really have it. It's mostly used with people who are buying like PBNs and stuff because the auctions go into network solutions. So, when you, like, let's say an obvious case. Let's say you have a money site that you got as an expired domain. That goes into network solutions, and that says Perfect Privacy LLC here. And then you pick up 10 BBNs, and 5 of those PBNs also say Perfect Privacy LLC here because they're with network solutions. You have a money site that says Perfect Privacy Solutions, and then 5 links going to that site that says Perfect Privacy LLC or whatever it is. They put that together. That's a huge footprint. That's the chances of that happening naturally are slim to none. But places like GoDaddy for the registered name, I think it says like Whoisguard, which is way, way, way more common than Perfect Privacy LLC, because so many people have GoDaddy domains, and other registrars that are big also use Whoisguard. So that's not as big of a footprint with it just saying Whoisguard. That's why a lot of GoDaddy domains are totally fine that I have, because there's that footprint is a lot smaller because a lot more people have GoDaddy domains, and also Whoisguard is used on other registrars or whatever they use. So that's what I mean by the footprints there. Joanne, it should be showing up right on your screen. The reason I don't read them is just for quickness, to make it quicker and to save my voice. From Leonard. I have not used that, Leonard, so I don't know what that is. Oh, no problem, Joanne. Good. I'm glad you see it. Get some new questions. Alright, from Christian. Yeah, I did notice that, Christian. It's crazy. I bought a site for like 25 grand. It's a really, really powerful site. Most I've ever spent on a domain, and they de-indexed it. This was like a month ago, and I bought it with a couple partners, and we were, of course, freaking out because we spent 25 grand on this domain, and they de-indexed it. So what we did is we did a re-inclusion request, and we put up the old, because what we did is we put up an e-cigarette site for it, and they said, this is, they gave it a pure spam penalty and de-indexed it, like a lot of what's going on now. So we put up the old site's content and put in a re-inclusion request, and they gave it back to us. It got indexed again, and like you said, a lot of the old pages got cached. Like a lot of the pages we put up for the e-cigarette site got cached, and also the old all mixed together, so it was crazy. And then the original site owner contacted us and said, you're copywriting our stuff, so we had to change it again. So we changed it back to e-cigarette type stuff again, and luckily Google didn't catch it. So that site's safe for now, but yeah, I have noticed that. We saw that with that site. From Eric. I mean, I doubt they're going through our emails. You never know. Some people don't use Gmail because they're afraid of that. I do, and I haven't had problems. Again, what I'm having problem with is the Whois footprints. Or what I just posted about today. There was a few sites where I'm like, what the hell? Like, they're GoDaddy sites. I'm like, they're like, and the sites they were linking to, like, there wasn't Whois footprints there. So I'm like, why are these sites getting penalized? And I looked deeper into it and I saw, oh, the site I'm linking to was de-indexed. Or, the site I'm linking to has a manual spam penalty, or it's new or not trusted, or whatever the case. So, my problem has been with who is information for the most part. From Tommy. I have partners that work with me, Tom. I don't really outsource too much stuff. But a lot of that stuff I'd also do on my own. Like, I make my own PBN posts and all that stuff. But I don't really have anyone that I outsource specifically for websites. But if you want to find someone, you can look in the NHB group and just kind of make a post letting them know what you're looking for, and you'll be able to find someone most likely. Yeah, you can probably use subdomains, Kevin. I haven't tried it or messed with it yet, but yeah, I'm sure that's an option. From Qzx899 whatever you, I know you put in a fake name there. Did you already see some decrease? No, see that, and that's why I don't. That's why I'm taking some off and I'm leaving some. And again, this is another part of Google's change. Remember, they have the the ranking delay now, where I've talked about plenty of times, where it's like, oh, you'll see a little boost right away, but then it's like you don't get the full boost 30 days later. I think they also did it the opposite way, where when a link's taken down or a link's discredited, it takes about 30 days for the effects to really kick in. You know what I mean? Like, they also did it the reverse way, not just when a link's added, but when a link's taken away. So any day now, we should start seeing, what type of decreases are going on, what type of decreases are going to happen from that, because it's been about a month since this all started happening, so it'll be pretty interesting to see what's going on. I would say it's safer to do more of them like this, because you can start having like the same name servers, and that can be a big footprint. Like, for example, if you have like NS. Let's see. Let me see a good example. Okay, so for like some of the sites I have on my IndiaNet server, which is indianets.com, they're an SEO hosting company I use. So let's say I get a 40 IP server. Okay, so I can put 40 sites on there. And my name servers for that server are ns345.indianets.com and ns346.indianets.com. You want to be careful about, I would only use this maybe for a couple sites, and I wouldn't link them to the same site, because if you put all 40 sites on these name servers, and then let's say you link like 10 of them to one site, you're going to have the same name servers for all 10 of those sites going to your money site, and that's a footprint, right? Whereas if you set up this way, ns.sitename.com, those are totally different names, so they can't really put that together as a footprint, or at least they're not yet, okay? Whereas this way, they're going to know what's going on here, because they're going to know that's just not going to happen. You're not going to have 10 of 10 links coming from the same name servers, or even 10 of 20. Without there being something fishy going on. So I would mainly set up the private name servers now. Alright, from Rainier here. I would ask that in the Facebook group, because I haven't really gone outside of English right here, but I know there's people who have. I think a lot of them use the regular.com, .net.org PBNs, but to be extra sure, I would just ask in the Facebook group, because I know there's a ton of people in other languages that rank very successfully. And I'm pretty sure they use mostly .com, .net.org, but you can check in the Facebook group to make sure. I don't want to give you a wrong answer. From Eric. Trying to understand your question here. Oh, yeah, it's more about the links, Eric. Definitely, it's about, the good links going to it. So I don't care if the domain authority says 20. If it has better links than a domain authority that says 40, I'm going with the 20. It all comes down to the quality of links. From Kevin. I mean, I'm not seeing a problem with thin content penalties right now, Kevin. As much as people are talking about it, I haven't seen that issue yet. My issue has been with who is information, and then just recently what I posted about today. I just haven't seen the thin content penalty yet, for me. From Denise. Oh, you're welcome, Denise. I doubt they would track that because that's so much extra data they got to pull in, which takes so many extra resources. I highly doubt they would have like a whole database of old information to compare to new database. That just wouldn't make sense for them to do, in my opinion. From Joseph. Yeah. Yep. From Kevin. Yeah, that's still indexed if that happens. Yep. As long as it doesn't say this, as long as it doesn't say no matches, then it's indexed. Alright, there's a couple more questions. Actually a few. But before I get to them, I'm just going to run to the bathroom really quick. I'll be back in about 1 minute. I'll let some more questions roll in. Alright, from Mike here. Honestly, Mike, if it was a client site for me, I would do them manually. If you're going right to the money site, I would probably do that manually. I wouldn't use GSA or SC Nuke. Even if it's low volume, I would just do them manually, make sure they're done right. I mean, that's just what I would do. I'm not saying it can't work, or it won't work, but yeah, I would just be careful with that, being a client site. From Eric. Right now, no. It's about the link juice going to the site, Eric. Now, if you link to a site about Charlottesville or about pizza from Charlottesville Pizza or pizzacharlottesville.com, it's going to help that it's relevant. And I think that's getting more important. But most of my sites linking my e-cigarette, actually, all of my PBNs linking to my e-cigarette site, Calcast, I give an example, and all my other sites have nothing to do with the topic. And of course, I'm ranking very well, so. From Denise. By anything, I'm not sure what you mean. You can use like different NS. Like for example, you can do like if we got calcast.com, you can do like ns376.calcast.com and ns377.calcast.com. And I will do random stuff like that sometimes, but a lot of times I'll just do ns1 and ns2. But I will mix in like random numbers like this, if that's what you meant. But you have to do like the regular site name, I believe. From Matt. Yeah, most likely I probably would, Matt. Unless you are linking them to different sites. So for my name, honestly, I think my name is flagged, or at least one of my emails or something, because it's like all my sites with my name on them are going, or at least with that email. But if you have like Roger Baker or something, and you haven't, you're obviously not me, so you haven't done a ton of PBNs. It's okay to have that as your whois information showing, linking to different sites. So if you got like 5 PBNs and all of them say Roger Baker, just don't send them to the same money site. PBN 1 would just have to go to money site 1. And you couldn't link any of the other ones. You couldn't have 2 with Roger Baker going to the same money site. Especially not right away, or that's gonna cause de-indexing most likely, because that's a huge footprint. The chances of 2 Roger Baker sites linking to the same money site and it being legitimate is not very common. So, although still, I would probably just put privacy on at least most of them if it were me. And remember, before I get this next set of questions, remember I've talked about this before, where they've identified like that I'm a private blog network guy. I've talked about this in the example where, let me go to the other one. Remember, I have that example where I purposely didn't change the SOA email. So if you type in greg3@meatlovemoney.com, this email, your email can get flagged. They can look up that and say, okay, let's go see what other sites this guy has. Let's go type in his email. Oh, he owns Nashville Website Design. He owns CDN News. He owns Delaware SEO. He owns Baton Rouge Architects. He owns Colorado Springs Veterinarians. He owns Newark. He owns all these sites, and they can just hit them all because they know that you're an SEO and you use PBN, so that's going to hit all your sites. So that's what I think happened with my name, or at least that email, is they identified me as a big PBN guy. They flagged them all. Okay, so just be careful with that, with using that. From Brian here. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, US money sites. Hold on, a UK domain. Use the PBN for. Oh yeah. That's fine, Brian. Now I wouldn't like do go overboard with it. Like you don't want all UK domains going to a US money site. But yeah, to mix in a couple here and there, absolutely, that's fine. From Brian. I mean, just the navigation's different, Brian. The same general rules apply, but how you do those things are obviously just different because you're dealing with regular HTML. You can't just log into WordPress and go to the title section and change the title, because with HTML it's a little more complicated. So it's just a matter of the process, but the same rules follow. You know, like the URL you would still want to be the same, the title you'd still want to be the same. It's just a matter of how you change it. For Mario, there's a new video on that Mario. I just did a new video, 2 new videos, and that's in your members area. From Prees. I don't know. I would ask Mike that. He deals with the client stuff for us, so I would ask Mike that. I don't deal with our clients. You're welcome, Mike. I don't use Cloud PBN, Alexander, so I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I just like doing stuff myself manually, just because I'm just a perfectionist. You know, that's just not saying there's anything wrong with Cloud PBN. It's just the way that I do it. I want to make sure I have my data pristine, you know, for me and you guys. So that's the reason I just do everything manually. I'm getting blown up on Facebook. Okay. Alright, so if you guys got more questions, get them going. We only got 2 more here. That's what I say, you know, when you're going through the content, make sure you write down questions, because a lot of times if you don't, you'll come to these and you'll totally forget what questions you had, so. So I'm just going to pause this for a couple minutes while some more questions roll in. Commercial keywords. I haven't heard that phrase before. Commercial intent you might be talking about, which means like I believe that means like the profitability. But commercial keywords I'm not familiar with. And I'll try to scroll up. See, my screen must be showing different than yours. And yes, you can use Spider Spanker on both your PBN and money sites, although I usually just use it on my PBNs. From Kevin here. I use OpenSite Explorer, Kevin. You know, just like I show when I analyze PBNs, I use OpenSite Explorer. Same thing for my money sites. So I use this. I do it the same way that I analyze PBNs. From Welton. I mean, I haven't messed with that at all, Welton, so I'm not. I don't know too much about that. I haven't even used VPNs that much, to be honest, except for a little bit with GSA. So I mean, I haven't really played with that at all. No, I do not want to save it. Alright, now we got some questions coming in. Yeah, you can use the same Axmet key, Denise. I don't think that's a footprint, because that's an individual service. You know, it's not like Google can like get into the XMEC database and get that. So from Alexander here. I don't know exactly how Cloud PBM works, Alexander, so I don't know. Yeah, questions go into the GoToWebinar chat box, or question box, whatever it's called. Then I'll take a screenshot and show them just like this. From Eric. I mean, it depends on the competition, the changes going on, Eric. You know, I've shown this site before. Let's see. One of our first example sites, BatonRougeArchitects.net. It's from like 2012. It's still #1, and I haven't touched it in, I don't know, 2 years. Yeah. Then like this Delaware SEO site. It's been #1 for, I don't know, well over a year, and I haven't touched it in over a year. You know, CalCast has been ranking for stuff like e-cig reviews for a while. Here it is right here at #4. I barely touched this. It's been up there for over a year, I would say. So I mean, it really just depends on, you know, the links you got going on, the updates going on, the competitiveness. Depends on a lot of things. I don't believe I'm using the Nuke version, Eric. Although I probably should be. I'll have to talk to Todd about that. I've just been so busy looking into the changes going on and all that. I don't know where that is. David uploads all the content. His email, if you can't find it, his email is david@omgmachines.com. But it should be in your members area. Look in the news section, actually, Eric. Because there should be like usually when he puts up new videos or new stuff, he lists it in the news section. So as soon as you log in, there's like a whole section of like the latest news. He should say like, you know, I just uploaded the a new video from Greg or whatever, and this is where it is. From Tommy. A maximum? No. Nope. If they're quality, there's no maximum. From Priest. I don't know. Let's go look. It wasn't easy to find when I found it, but I did find it somehow. Let me see. It was in one of these. Because I remember I sent the link to someone. Put that in I don't want to go over, you know, look for this for a while in the session. Ask in the Facebook group. I bet you someone has the link. But it did that when someone asked me about it, I was like, you know, just go type it in Google. And they did, and they had trouble finding it, and so did I. But I did find it somewhere. It was on like a top 50 website, like the top 50 plugins. So ask in the Facebook group. Someone should have a link for it. Or if we run out of questions, I'll go look for it again. Yeah, bro, I do that in the training. In the supremacy section, I focus on that a lot in those videos, so I would check that out. Yeah, again, I haven't used Cloud PBN, so I don't know exactly how it works, or if the footprint thing is true or not. So I just don't know how it works. I believe Todd Spears looked it over, and he said it was fine, but again, I haven't personally used it. From showing... Again, when I'm buying PBNs, just like I show. I use OpenSite Explorer, and I check the quality through there. Just kind of looking at the URLs, the anchor text, the titles of the links, the Alexa rankings, the page rank. Just kind of putting it all together. Like if it's a site that used to be about science, there's a lot of links from like sciencey types websites. That's a good sign because those are natural links. I never really use TrustFlow and all that to analyze. I do not, but again, it all comes down to URL, title, anchor text. Mainly URL and anchor text. So, I mean, as long as you can change all that stuff, that's what matters. It's about the URL and anchor text mainly. Then being able to change the anchor text. So, I mean, the same way you would rank a WordPress. You know what I mean? Same way. From Kevin... I don't. I just buy more. I don't power my PBNs. Just get more of them. From Adrian. I mean, it really depends what area you're targeting, I guess. I don't really worry about that side of things. I let Mike deal with that. I just get them ranked. So those are good questions to ask for like Fletch. Fletch is really, really good with client stuff and pricing and all that, and he has coaching every week. So if you get 4 PBNs, I don't remember your other question. So you'd have to re-ask that, Anthony. From Reinier. Sometimes nothing. Let's say we got Qzx899 a URL link would obviously be Qzx899, but a branded anchor text could be Qzx8. Okay? So it's kind of like the same thing, but a URL is just, the actual URL. Branded was just like kind of like company name or site name by itself. I do not use SEMrush. I believe that tells you like what keywords the site ranks for, if I remember right. And I used them and they were just so delayed. They were like a month or two behind, so I never really got into SEMrush. From Alexander. I mean, I don't know exactly, Alexander, but silos help, but they're not needed. I mean, look at KLKS. That's not siloed. If we go look at, let's go back to that. I'll even search for something else. Let's say like best electronic cigarette reviews or something. They were number 2 for that. Not siloed. Right? This site right here is not siloed. So yeah, I mean, the first 4 listings are, home pages, and the first 5 actually are home pages and sites that aren't siloed. So I mean, you still rank fine without size. They can just really help in some cases. From Sean. All right, from Dominic. You're welcome, by the way, Sean. I am not totally sure. Again, that's a question I would ask on Facebook. So a lot of people from other countries know those answers because they've dealt with it. You know, like Mike Hayden and people like that. They've dealt with all that stuff. So I would bring that up again in the Facebook group. I don't want to give you a wrong answer. From Eric. Nah. I mean, not unless you're like using it on like all your sites, and then you have like a bunch of PBNs linking to all dynamic theme sites, and I guess they could put that together as a footprint. I doubt they would. But I mean, yeah, it could be, but not because we're all using it, though, Eric. The only reason that could be a footprint is if you're using it as a footprint yourself. Like, you have a whole bunch of sites set up with just dynamic theme. If you got like a dynamic theme money site, then a whole bunch of dynamic theme PBNs all pointing to a dynamic theme money site, they can put that together. But as far as us all using dynamic theme, no, that's not a footprint. From Denise. GSA is a spam type tool, Denise. It's like a link building tool. And Jimmy teaches that in the members area. He's very good at GSA. Alright, so no more questions. We got about a minute left. So I'm going to give it another minute for any questions. Final questions come in, then we'll get them answered. So I'll give it 1 minute. And after we get to these last ones, we'll end here. You're welcome, Brian from Precier. Yeah, you can try that, if it's worth it to you. I guess it depends what your budget is and how much you spend on the domain and all that stuff, but you can try it if it's worth your time. From Christian. Yeah, anything to mix it up, Christian. And like if you're going to do a press release, I wouldn't do like anchor text. I would just use like a branded anchor text, like company name or URL, because remember that goes out to a lot of different places. Like the same content goes out to a lot of different places, so just be careful with that. Just use like branded anchor text if you're doing like a press release. Logo citations can be good. Again, I would mix in a lot of branded anchor text with this type of stuff to be safe. I wouldn't build like too many Web 2.0s at once. Like try to mix everything if you're doing different types of links. Like try to mix different stuff. Like don't just go out and build just 10 2.0s and that's all the linking you have, because that looks fishy. All right, so just diversify. Like if you're going to do different kinds of links, diversify it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But when you think about it, Walls of Agurtus, when you think about it, it kind of goes on point with what I was just talking about, where how would you know about that page if it's not indexed? You get what I'm saying? Like, if that's not indexed on Google yet, how would you know about that page unless it was your site, right? So that could have been what happened. Is they know that there's really no way for you to know about that page unless it's your site or a client site that just you know about. So yeah, that's definitely what could have happened, because there's really no way for you to know about that page if it's not indexed. from Anthony. I don't know if there's a glossary that we did. I know Mike did that big blueprint, and he keeps it up to date. But any terminology that you have questions on, Anthony, just come here and ask. Or ask the Facebook group. But as far as like the general overall, like what to do with who is and all that stuff, just follow the videos that I do. You know, if you have questions outside of that, just ask them on these sessions or, of course, in the Facebook group. And they get answered very quickly, usually there. All right. All right, so that's going to end this session, guys. Hopefully you got a lot out of this one. Remember, we're doing these like every week now, so I'll have one next week. Again, go through the content and write down your questions. If it, or just ask them on Facebook if it's like a general question. If it's something you think you need me to answer, write it down for me to answer here. But the Facebook group can be great for questions you need to answer like really quickly or anything like that. All right, again, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to stop this now, and I'll have David put up this recording, hopefully tonight or tomorrow at the latest. I'll shoot him an email after we're done. All right, again, thanks, guys. I will see you all soon.